Hello, fourth graders. I'm excited to share with you some learning opportunities. Each week will be a different focus. This week is multiplication, and we're focusing on actually really unpacking the four different strategies you played around with for multiplication, whether it's partial products, doubling and halving, which also can be tripling and thirding, also area model, and also breaking factors and smaller factors. We recognize that not every one of these is the most efficient every time, but we are asking you to solve each problem using 3 or 4. I've only given you 2 problems each day. I ask you please, please, please don't do all the problems in one day. Please do 2 problems one day, 2 the next, 2 the next. It's teaching you to re-engage each day and to just think about how numbers work. It's a much better way to help your brain engage too. If you do all the problems in one day, you're driving yourself by the product of finishing it. That is not the reasoning of this video and or these problems I've sent home with you. It's about the process and teaching your brain how to unwrap each problem. And again, you're only picking 3 or 4, so each problem you're not doing all 4 ways, you're picking 3 of the 4 ways that are most efficient for the numbers given to you, and each one's going to be different. So if we look at 8 24s, 8 groups of 24, with partial products you could break up the 24 into 20 plus 4, so 8 20s is 160, 8 4s is 32, 160 plus 32 is 192. That is one way we could do it. The other way is I actually use commutative properties. So instead of saying 8 24s, I'm saying 24 8s. And within that framework, what I'm actually really focused on is thinking about, well, how can I break up 8 instead of 24? So I'm going to break up 8 as 10, lose 2. So 24 10s, right? And we're going to subtract 24 2s. So 240 minus 48 still is 192. It all depends on what works better for you. If you'd rather be in a place where you're going to be doing addition when you get your 2 numbers, please add. If you're okay with subtraction, please subtract. Look at doubling and halving. If we have 8 groups of 24, now 8 and 25 are 2 numbers that do beautifully with doubling and halving. 8 is a great number to half and keep going down. 25 is a great number to double. So in this situation, there's no 25 here, but look, if I said 8, well half 8, that's 4, half 4 is 2, half 2 is 1. So 24 times 2 is 48, 48 times 2 is 96, 96 times 2 is 192. So we know 8 24s in doubling and halving is 192. If I wouldn't have done it that way, and let's say I would have decided to do 8 24s and I would have actually flipped the order, well, look what happens. Half of 24 is 12, half of 12 is 6, half of 6 is 3. That's great, but I'm still left with 64 thirds. I don't know if that really helped me all that much. So when I get to 64 thirds, I can still then use partial products if I want, but it's just adding another layer to it, where I really think the green would be the most efficient doubling and halving method with these numbers. And if you look at the area model, which is in blue, area model is just that. It's a great way to think about it geometrically in terms of rectangles, in terms of area. And it's a great way to have you start to think, because when you start to work algebraically in the future years, it's going to allow you to work with binomials more efficiently if you understand the strategy. So if I broke up the 24, it looks very much like partial products. I'm just using place value to break it up, 20 plus 4 and 8. Realize, let's say I gave you a 2-digit by 2-digit number. Let's say it was 18 by 25. Well, in this situation, again, because it's focused on place value, I would break it up into 20 plus 5 and 10 plus 8. So just realize that's the difference between its 1-digit to 2-digit number. 2-digit to 2-digit is just that. 3 digits to 2 would be 3 columns to 2 columns. Just so you realize how area model becomes most efficient, because here 10 is 200, 10 5s is 50, 8 20s is 160, 8 5s is 40, and I would add up all those boxes, the same as I'm adding up these 2 boxes here, again, to get 192. So we're finding, no matter which way we do it, we're still getting the same solution. Now the last one is breaking factors into smaller factors. This is a great strategy that really is probably, in my opinion, the most efficient strategy when you get comfortable with it. At first, people are just comfortable because they're not breaking down numbers. But like if I broke down the 8 as into 2 times 4 times 2 times 12, well, associative property tells me the order in which any 3 numbers are multiplied or more doesn't matter to their outcome. Well, 4 times 12 is 48. 48 twos is 96. 96 twos is 192. So that gets me there. Or maybe you say, well, Mr. Harrison, I wouldn't have thought to break it down. I'd rather break the 8 all the way down. So I'm going to break it down into 2 times 2 times 2. That's okay, because you're still saying 2 24s is 48. 48 twos is 96. 96 twos is 192. Either way, you still end up with the same solution. Just realize that you can make the changes according to how you want to, but allow the numbers to work for you. That's the beauty of breaking factors into smaller factors. You don't have to break down both numbers unless you want to. Break down one number or the other number, or break down both depending on what it gives you to make it more efficient for you. Thank you very much. Enjoy.